Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Warner. I am the existing industry project manager for the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. Over the last couple of months going through the pandemic, we have been putting on any sort of webinar possible to help our small businesses get through this time. And right now it looks like we're coming through the back end, hopefully, of this pandemic. And so now a lot of our businesses, they're having issues on the workforce side of things, which is a little bit different than the funding side of things that we were initially helping businesses with. So I have teamed up with the Wounded Warrior Project and the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs so we can get as many businesses involved in the hiring of veterans to fulfill these workforce needs as possible. And we have two very special guests that would have loved to have been here this morning. But unfortunately, they are in DC having to do a little bit of actual work. So they recorded a small video for us, and so I'm going to start the presentation by sharing the video.
Good morning. This is David Perdue, the senior United States Senator from Georgia. It's my high honor today to welcome you to the Benefits of Hiring Veterans webinar. The women and men of the United States military represent the very best that America has to offer. Unfortunately, many of them struggle to find steady work after they return from duty. Veterans have developed the skills, discipline, and fortitude to fill critical positions in any industry. As businesses like yours start to reopen, veterans will play a key role in rebuilding our economy. These heroes put their lives on the line to keep our country safe. Now we have the chance to pay them back and help them when they need it most. Please accept my very best wishes, and I hope you have an engaging and informative webinar. God bless you, God bless Georgia, and God bless the United States of America.
Hi everyone. I wanted to send my greetings and my deepest gratitude to Forward Forsyth, the Wounded Warrior Project, and the VA for putting on today's event. This dedication to helping veterans find their next mission in the workforce is absolutely vital. As a businesswoman, the daughter and granddaughter of veterans, and a member of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs, I understand the important relationship between an employer and a veteran. I commend each of you for participating in today's event that highlights the many benefits of hiring veterans. In fact, I encourage everyone to share this important mission with others and to urge them to hire our veterans. They have sacrificed every day to defend our country and the freedoms that we all enjoy. We must ensure that when they return home, our veterans are afforded the same opportunities to start a new, rewarding mission as they build on their careers. Thank you for fostering this really important conversation and for your service to our veterans and our country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you for the senators for putting that video together for us. It really does mean a lot. And for helping us promote the event. I know that we're from Forsyth County, and that's the businesses that I'm paid to help out every day. But we are really putting this event on to help any business in Georgia and any veteran across the nation to find work and to get the workforce back to where it needs to be for our economy. So I would now like to invite Laura Lamont and Shantae Lee with the Wounded Warrior Project to join me on the webinar. Laura is the Southeast Warriors to Work Manager, and Shantae Lee is the Atlanta Warriors to Work Specialist. So Laura and Shantae, if you would please join the webinar.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having us, Alex, and everyone here. Your Georgia senators couldn't have said it better. We're really excited to work with all of you, and we're so grateful to be asked to be on the call today to help partner with everyone to get our heroes back to work. It's been quite a challenge these past few months, but we're up to the task. So let's get started. I wanted to, and I'm Laura Lamont. I'm the Wounded Warrior Project Warriors to Work Manager for the Southeast team of Warriors to Work. And Shantae is one of our fabulous specialists. She sits in the Atlanta office and covers all of Georgia. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what Wounded Warrior Project does in general, and it'll be brief, and then I'm going to hand it over to Shantae to talk about Warriors to Work. So Wounded Warrior Project, Shantae, could we pop up the video, the PowerPoint? And Wounded Warrior Project serves veterans and service members who've incurred a physical, mental, or illness or injury while serving in the military post 9/11, so on or after 9/11. We also serve all family members. We offer all of our programs in 4 main areas: mind and mental health support, body, economic empowerment, and engagement. And in the mind pillar, we have our mental health and wellness group. We have our Warrior Care Network, which is the 2 to 3 week intensive outpatient program helping veterans heal from post-traumatic stress, TBI, and related conditions. And they're sent to one of our 4 medical partners: Rush University, Mass General, UCLA, and Emory. And we have our combat stress recovery program. This is a mental health and wellness outdoor rehabilitation retreat called Project Odyssey. And we have our Wounded Warrior Project Talk. It's a free mental health support line that we offer. All of our programs are free, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Free to family members and our veterans. In our body pillar, we have our physical health and wellness program that helps with diet and exercise and getting people fit. And our Soldier Ride program, which is a 4 to 5 day bicycling experience. We hold these around the country, and it's a great way for people to get together and veterans to be with other veterans and see the country in a beautiful, healthy way. Our Independence program helps our most injured veterans suffering from moderate to severe brain injury, and it helps them to work toward more independent living and lifestyle. And finally, our economic empowerment pillar, we have our benefits program that helps our folks get their VA, work with the Departments of Veteran Affairs and the Department of Defense to get their benefits and help them be more financially sound. And then we have our Warriors to Work program.
Okay, so the Warriors to Work employment cycle. This is how we assist with finding work or liaising with employers and trying to connect the warrior to the job. Warriors to Work has a team of specialists working nationally, assisting warriors and family members to remove barriers to employment. So we have 5 phases. The first one is called the discovery phase. So during the discovery phase, it's a phone call. And during that phone call, we gather facts. We discover the type of assistance needed, whether it's resume help, interview prep, help with job search, whatever it is, we're here to assist through that process. The call is sometimes a lengthy call because during that time, we're actually uncovering their goals, their desires, things that they want to do. When we do this, this helps build a rapport, and this also helps us better assist the warrior when we know exactly what they want to do. So after the first phase of discovery, we move to the second phase, which is resume review. With the resumes are definitely needed. We need to see the resumes to see the past experience, skills, education, and other training to provide the best job search assistance. So with our resumes, we provide feedback. We assist with tailoring resumes to be job specific. We also assist with cover letters, and we also have an amazing tool called Rise Smart, and it's through Monster. It's our resume writing service. So when I review a resume of a warrior, if the resume needs to be revised, I'll send it through Rise Smart, and they'll turn it around, and it will be dynamic, still concise, but it would look a whole lot better and improved. And once we have that, we move to phase 3, which is the job search. Once we have that resume, we're now ready to conduct our job search. When the resume is ready, we can start sending it out to various employers, search engines, and etc. So for the job search, it consists of various search engines. We use Indeed, we use ZipRecruiter, we use staffing agencies, etc. So the first thing is to find that job. So I could go to Indeed and find a job, but I would also call that employer, build a rapport, and make an attempt to liaise on behalf of the warrior. Once we build a rapport with the company, usually the company is like, hey, this is great, send us some resumes. and we'll start sending more resumes, and we've now built a rapport and a relationship with that employer. So the job search consists of many things: employers, staffing agencies, again, various search engines. And sometimes the job search can take a while because the warriors are very specific when it comes to what they want to do. So sometimes it can be quick, and then sometimes it can take a little longer. That moves us to phase 4, which is interview prep. Now, the interview prep is very essential. This must be done in an effort to prepare the warrior for the interview. And they may feel that they're already prepared, but when you can never be prepared enough. So we like to conduct mock interviews. We discuss tips, things to do to improve interviews, tone of voice, interview questions and responses, your elevator pitch, things like that. We go over to better prepare the warrior so that when they have that interview, they're comfortable, they are not so nervous, and they're ready to go. And then once we have that, we move to job placement. So we've done the discovery, we uncovered things, and we now know what they want to do. We prepared their resume, we conducted a job search, we prepped them for the interview, and now we're moving on to job placement. And in order to get to job placement, all of the employment cycle steps must be followed. Once the warrior gets to this phase, their job is secured.
So one of the ways that, in addition to prepping the warrior, we also work with Warriors to Work employer partners, and we have many around the country. By the way, we're a national program, so we're in every state in the country. We have an office, or we have people working remotely, but we're available. So one of the ways in which we help warriors get the jobs is we work with employers nationally, matching them to positions that are open. So we have several national employers and hundreds of smaller employers, local small business employers. We do one-on-one sharing with the warrior, showing them what positions are available, selling the companies. We vet the companies and work with them. Like Shantae said, we build relationships with the employers so that we can speak knowledgeably to the warriors about what's out there and what's coming. We like to have a good relationship where we can pick up the phone and maybe a recruiter at the company can tell us, hey, we've got 50 construction jobs coming up, or we're opening a fulfillment center, and we can quickly move to get folks submitted for those positions. We also have a private job board that we use through Monster. It's private to us, so it's not something where other folks can get in and post positions. Only we can, but we can post the hot positions, and the warriors can upload daily jobs. So that's nice. That's something new for us. And one of the other ways that we work well with employers is we hold in-person and virtual employer events. We've really been used to the virtual events since we've all been working from home. By the way, we're about to go back to our offices soon. That's starting to happen. So we'll be back to doing more in-person events. But the virtual employer events have really turned out well. We've been pleasantly surprised with attendance and a variety of ideas. And so we will hold events on how to write a resume, how to build a LinkedIn profile, but we'll also hold employer events where we'll bring in Amazon or Wayfair, and they'll talk about their hiring process, what they look for in their employees, positions that they typically have available, and what to look for, how to navigate their applicant tracking system, those sorts of things. So we do a lot of work with the employer partners. And next slide. So now we're to the question and answer period of the presentation. So what does everyone have?
This is Tom Burgess with Christian Brothers Automotive.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, do you guys have a database of folks that you have in there now, or what's the best way? Like right now, I need a guy to change oil. I need a general service technician. And would I be able to see who you have in your system here in Forsyth, or what's the best way?
Well, actually, yeah, so we do have a database. It's affiliated with our general database for all of Wounded Warrior Project. the information is pretty protected because of personal health information and people need, but we do have a database. If you speak with one of us, we can go in and source it, find the folks for you, match the resumes to what you're looking for, or just flip resumes right over and you can call them directly. All we need to do is call our people, tell them about the job.
I'll be in touch after this.
Yeah, wonderful. So excited. Thank you.
Hi, this is Pam Martin.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, I just wanted to see, will we be able to get your phone numbers to where we can contact you? We have a need for a diesel mechanic, and son number one is a vet as well, and he does like hiring veterans because they have the work ethic that he's looking for. Plus, they can understand each other. So I wanted to see if you would share in the comments or something like that your contact information to where we can possibly get in contact with you to see if you have someone available that's looking for something like that.
Yes, we should have actually put this on the last page. I didn't even think about that. I apologize. Shantae, can you share that with the team? I don't know if there's a way for you to get into the comments while I'm speaking and put the Atlanta phone number in your email address. Any other questions, guys?
And Laura and Shantae, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I will actually create a slide, and at the end of the presentation, I will share your email address and the Atlanta phone number.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are welcome. And,
Thank you so much.
Of course. And so thank you for the Wounded Warrior Project for the presentation. Like I said, we have a handful of companies that are on the call now, but we have hundreds of companies that wanted this information. So we'll get the information to them in the recorded session so that we can get as many veterans back to work as possible. I now want to bring on Mike Buchanan. Mike is a veteran outreach and community engagement specialist. He is from the North Texas VA healthcare system. And we brought Mike in because he is the expert on once you have veterans in your workforce, on everything that you can do to make the relationship as smooth as possible and to help out the veterans in any way that they need. So I'm going to bring Mike up on the call.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alex. Can everybody hear me? I hope they can. I'm sure that you can. I'm a pretty loud person. Hey, so I usually would bring up video, but since we're going to be sharing, I'm just going to bring up the PowerPoint. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a heck of an opportunity to be able to talk about why to hire veterans. I think a lot of you already seem to understand why you should hire veterans. We're a pretty great bunch once you get us employed and kind of on the straight and narrow, but I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about what do I do once I have veteran employees, because veterans are kind of a different breed. You know, we try to remind veterans that because I'm a veteran myself, which you'll see in this slideshow, but we try to remind veterans in the VA that we have the potential to be almost 6 to 7 times more sick. I hate to say that, but more sick sometimes because of the things that we were exposed to or the things that we've gone through. And so we need to pay attention to our healthcare a lot more efficiently than most people normally would. So I'm going to be talking to you just kind of a little bit about the VA and kind of how we do things. And then I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about vocational and what the VA offers for vocational rehabilitation and things like that to help your employees who are already employed maybe get the training that they need to excel in your business currently. So let's get right into it. 1 second. All right, so this is just a little bit about me. So I work for the Public Affairs Office in North Texas VA healthcare system. So I do work in Dallas. So veteran outreach community engagement specialist. Just to caveat really quick on that, our position is very unique to our location. There is not another really keyed in veteran outreach and community engagement specialist. The VA does have outreach, but it's usually only for the vet centers. So our team is kind of new in that regard, where we are just trying to test the waters out to see if this is a very needed thing, and obviously it very much is. So what we kind of do is we basically go to where veterans live, work, and play, and we just help answer and navigate veteran service or questions that either the employer has, or the veteran has, or maybe the family has, or anything in between, because there are a lot of myths and legends that live out there about veteran healthcare and also veteran benefits. And so we just kind of try to, just demystify a lot of that. We like to call ourselves mythbusters most of the time. So I was active duty. I was in the United States Army. I was a cavalry scout. If no one knows what that is, it's kind of like the infantry, but we're better. So we're not actually better than anybody, but we like to think that we are. So I was there for 7 years, and I also did 2 deployments to Afghanistan. I was with the 10th Mountain Division. It's upstate New York. It's very, very cold. It's one of the coldest spots in the United States of America. So I was also a peer support specialist. I worked in the mental health department before I did this, just trying to basically give back. So a peer support specialist is a veteran who has mental illness and who has overcome it, or is in the processes of recovery, and who is doing just a little bit better off than most of the other veterans that would normally come into the VA. So we can kind of share our experiences of what we've done to get better and to do better in our lives, and hopefully that'll help some of our other veterans. And so I did that for about 4 years. And I talked about already about how I helped create this position, just so we can kind of bridge that gap between the VA services and the community. And then that's my bureaucratic picture. So yeah. All right. So here's pretty much kind of what the presentation is going to be over. I'm just going to give you a quick VA breakdown. I think it's very important for businesses, for anyone that's not a veteran, and veterans also as well, to understand how the VA is broken down, because we get a lot of questions and a lot of myths can be demystified, at least of where to go to handle an issue or a problem, or even a service, to find a service, if you know how the VA is actually broken down. I'll also talk briefly on some VA vocational programs, and I'll give you all the links will be available on this presentation. And so if you need this information, like Alex was saying, he's going to be recording this, and so you should be able to get a playback of this, or he can send you this PowerPoint, because I'll be sending it to him as well in an email. And so if you need it, please, by all means, ask him for it. I'll also talk to you a little bit briefly on some Georgia veteran information and where to find it. It's just some, specifics to Georgia, because you are all in Georgia. All right, so here's the VA breakdown. So the VA is basically broken down into 3 different categories. And so we've broken down into the VHA, which is what I represent. We're broken down into the VBA, which is Veteran Benefits Administration. So VHA is Veteran Healthcare Administration, VBA is Veteran Benefits Administration, and the VCO is the Veteran Central Office, or the VA Central Office. So I represent VHA, which is your doctors, your nurses, anything that you could think of that requires healthcare. That's me. I cover that. And then VBA is, I don't know if any of you are familiar with veteran service officers, but each of your counties has someone who represents themselves as your veteran service officer for your county. All you have to do is, we'll get to the website later, a little later on the Georgia specific, but there is a website that you can go to for Georgia to find out who the VSO is in your area. As a business, as a small business or a large thriving business, one of your goals should be to be best friends with that VSO. That VSO is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to veterans in your community. So the VBA handles everything from disability compensation, anything that has monetary value that comes from the VA. So when a veteran is talking about, my disability compensation, and I'm not getting my paycheck, my disability check from the VA, that's all VBA. It has nothing to do with VHA. It all has to do with VBA. It also has to do with some of our vocational programs, so like Voc Rehab, Vet Tech, I'll be talking about just a little bit. And then anything else that's monetary value. Central Office deals with all of our national cemeteries, and then our higher level functions of the VA. So basically it's our command from Veteran Central Office. All right, so VA vocational programs. Here's just a little bit, it's just a very brief tidbit breakdown of some of our vocational programs. There are more coming in the works, especially now because of this pandemic. But for now, we just have some of the tidbits of the most common ones that you'll see or that you'll hear about. I suggest that if any of these sound like an option for current employees or veterans that you know, please let them know the information. We'd like to use this for veterans who are currently seeking jobs or who are currently seeking employment, or for veterans who are already employed, because they can use some of these different programs to get a leg up. Or let's say that you have an automotive specialist or you have a mechanic, but they also there's some sort of IT that you really like to fill internally, and you think that person would be really good for the job because they can handle the responsibility. Well, they may be able to go back and use one of these vocational programs in the VA to get that training that's required to do that IT position for your business, so that you can hire internally. And so just think about that. So vocational rehabilitation and employment, we call it the VR&E. We really just call it Voc Rehab. That is the website that you can find it at. It's benefits.va.gov. So basically, it's for veterans and employers. There's a veterans and employers tab. If you're an employer and you're looking to hire someone from Voc Rehab, someone that has specialized training. Again, I heard there was 2 automotive questions that I heard in the last segment. Voc Rehab will train people in automotive sciences and automotive technology. And so that might be a good place to go as an employer to get connected with the local Voc Rehab person at the Atlanta VA. And so that you will be connected with that person, so that when people are looking to get that degree, they can kind of funnel people towards you. So the service connection rating, that's kind of how everything is run in the VA. We have I said SCD rating, but it's a service connection disability rating. That's how we register everything, or how we put people into kind of categories of what you're eligible for, is usually based on your service connection disability rating. So for the vocational rehab, they have to have a service connection disability rating of 20% or more. So basically what we do is we assign you a vocational career counselor. It's similar to what the Wounded Warrior Project was talking about with Warriors to Work, but I feel like it's a lot less, probably it's a lot less personable because it's more bureaucratic. But yeah, anyway, so they can pay for most job trainings that need to get for the job. So Vet Tech is a new one. Let's talk about that. Vet Tech just came around this year, actually. And what it is that we realized in the marketplace today that IT training was becoming something that was very valuable to have, and it's something where jobs seem to be more focused these days, and more businesses need someone who is IT trained. So Vet Tech is our answer to that. They only have to have, the coolest thing about this, I think, is that they only have to have 1 day left of any GI Bill benefits. So a lot of veterans will go and use their GI Bill, which is the third one, and they will go to schooling for something and then realize maybe that's not a field that really works for them or something like that. But if they have at least 1 day left of GI Bill benefits, they're eligible to go and do a full suite of IT training classes, which is very nice and very good for them, so they can kind of switch a career path. So basically what it covers is computer software. You can see it right there. It's anything computers, pretty much. Like I said, it's also a very great option for existing workforce looking for a promotion within a company. We use it for that a lot around here locally, so we can kind of give that veteran a leg up. You'd be surprised, going from like an auto mechanic to an IT professional inside that same exact career field, nets a much larger paycheck usually. So veterans are very motivated to do that. So GI Bill, it's just your traditional schooling option. Most people usually know about it, but veterans should utilize it if they haven't utilized it. I know that President Trump made it to where we have a forever GI Bill now, but veterans should still try to utilize it as soon as possible upon exiting the military. So if they haven't, and you've talked to your employees about it, about going back for more training, they should at least think about trying to use their GI Bill at some point. Okay, so here are just some Georgia vocational resources for veterans. So you have the Georgia Department of Veteran Services. That is probably going to be your 100% go-to if you have veterans hired with you, or if you're looking to hire veterans. I would be very well versed in that website. Again, this will be available for you later. But this is really good tool because it has a lot of links to a lot of different Georgia initiatives for veterans. And it's also good because you can go to it and find where your veteran service officer locations are located. So for instance, for Forsyth is the person, your VSO actually works in Gainesville, and they cover like Gainesville, Forsyth, and I think like 2 other counties as well. But you can get their name and information off of that website, and so that you can start being friends. It also has information on all things veterans in Georgia. I also got the link for the Georgia Veterans Education and Career Transition Resource Center. That's a heck of a mouthful. Thank goodness they gave it an acronym of VECTOR. But that is a pretty cool location as well. It just helps with education vocational connection. It also has a VSO locator, or Veteran Service Officer locator, and then community support resources. And then, of course, your Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency. That is really good to go to as a business owner, HR manager, whatever you may be on this call. It goes over a lot of your tax incentives and your tax credit information, also work opportunity credits. So really quick on those, okay? Most veterans, I'll give myself as an example. I am a 100% service-connected veteran, so I'm 100% disabled through the VA's disability rating system. For me, someone who employs me could possibly get up to $9,600 of a tax credit just for hiring me because of my service connection rating. So that's a pretty big incentive when thinking about hiring veterans. It's not just the work ethic and the loyalty factor of hiring a veteran, but there are other tax incentives and federal incentives to hiring a veteran. Also, something to keep in mind that we like to relay to the businesses here in Dallas. We have a lot of new headquarter buildings being built here, a lot of new headquarters for large companies here in Dallas, Texas. And so we like to remind them that most businesses these days have to be ADA compliant. Well, being ADA compliant requires a lot of money usually to have your buildings, built in a certain way to be ADA compliant. There are also tax credits and tax incentives for those building costs as well if you're hiring someone who is considered disabled. And so that is also another good thing because a lot of veterans are considered disabled and could be that reason for those ADA tax credits. And so just to keep that in mind. All right, so here's just kind of a summary and kind of what to take away. I know I've talked forever, I'm sorry. So veterans are extremely hard workers. We're very loyal to the end. However, we do need to have good connections to healthcare, mental health care, and other veterans to thrive. It's very important for veterans to be connected to healthcare and mental health care. We may not think that we need it right now, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't need it 7 years down the road, or when our company is going through a rough patch and just kind of everything comes down on top of us. We've been through a lot commonly, and military is not easy, and I'm sure that most of you know that. And so, again, we hold ourselves together pretty well because we like to stay as professional as possible. However, it does kind of take a toll every once in a while. So we try to remind our veterans here in Dallas to just be connected with healthcare and use basically, I tell veterans all the time, you're playing a 5-card draw poker game with 2 cards. Why? Right? Use all of the 52 cards to your advantage. If someone's going to offer you 52 different options as a veteran, use them all. Don't just use the 2 that you feel most comfortable with. So the same thing with healthcare and mental health care. Please find your veteran service officer in your county, invite them out, get to know them. We like to do events. I know that obviously events are kind of on hold right now, but virtual events may not be. So we do events with the third one that's right there on the screen, but which is considered starting a Verge group. A lot of our companies that we work with here locally, we try to encourage them to start these veteran employee resource groups. And so it's just basically where veterans are given, a lunch period to be able to kind of meet together, and they have different speakers come out, and usually like their veteran service officer, or maybe it'll be me from the VA, and I'll come and talk to them about healthcare, or maybe it's just somebody random from HR in the company that talks to them about, veteran benefits and other veteran initiatives that the company is trying to do. But it's a way to gather your veterans together and for them to have their own support network within your organization. And we're really finding that it helps tremendously with the amount of stress or other problems or even personal problems that veterans are going through, because they're more willing to talk to other veterans about those issues and solve them together before it even becomes a problem throughout, them being an employee or through your company. Again, there's many different avenues of approach for hiring veterans. Wounded Warrior Project is definitely a very good one. Please utilize, the heck out of them. And also encourage veterans that you have that are employed or hired to get involved with at least one outside veteran service organization. So, I put a couple there for you to kind of see, like the Wounded Warrior Project, the VFW, American Legion, etc. I am a small group leader for the Dallas Wounded Warrior Project peer support groups. And so I lead that group here. And so that's kind of my organization that I delve my time into. But it just helps us, again, stay connected as veterans, and veterans like to solve other veterans' issues. It helps us become better employees and just better people and better citizens in our communities. All right, so I know I've talked your ear off, but now it is time for questions. And also, there is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me. I am a well of information, but only if you use me for it. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'll take some questions if you have them.
All right. Thank you so much, Michael. That was fantastic. We did have a couple of questions that came across in the chat for you, and so just wanted to Tom with Christian Brothers Automotive, he has a vet that is working for him that was blown up, but he got 0% disability, and he was wondering where he could send his worker for an additional review.
So that's a great question. So it comes back to your veteran service or officer. So either your veteran service officer, or if they were post 9/11, I usually send them to Wounded Warrior Project as well. They also have that function. They have a veteran service, kind of like a veteran service officer, that will help them review their claim and will also help them write their claims, right? Because these days, I tell people it's like going to criminal court and trying to defend yourself. The bureaucracy of it all is very difficult. Most veterans try to, even if they got blown up, it may not be cut and dry because of how veterans put on that brave face. And so when they go to the doctor, instead of saying, yes, it hurts, they'll be like, nah, man, I'm fine. And then the doctor will say, okay, 0%, you're fine. Veteran service officer, the local one for their area, it just, if you give them the info that I gave about where to find those veteran service officers, or if you get to know the veteran service officer in your area that they live in, that would be your best bet.
That is awesome. And Michael, thank you so much for everything. I did want to point everyone towards the chat. In the chat, we actually have Kevin Patterson. Kevin is the local veterans employment representative for the Georgia Department of Labor, and he has put his contact information into the chat. So if you are a local employer here in the state of Georgia, please look up Kevin's information and send him an email if you have any questions. I am then going to put my contact information up on the screen. As Mike said throughout the presentation, if you would like a copy of this so that you can have the hard links, please reach out to me. I will be more than happy to provide this for everybody. And also, we have a recorded version of this webinar. And so if you would like a recorded version so that you could play it, or so that you could share it with a veteran that you have working for you, or just with other businesses in the area that you feel could benefit from this webinar, please share it in as many different ways as possible. We have no ties and no copyrights on it. We are putting this together to get as many veterans into the workplace as possible. So please take advantage of it and send it out to anybody that you can. With that, I'm going to ask for Shante and Michael to come back up on the screen, just because we have a couple of additional questions, and I would like for them to be able to answer. Shante, Patrick, he is with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center, and he was asking if you have any veterans that ever come to you that are looking to start their own business. And he is volunteering for me to share his contact information so that if the Small Business Development Center can help that process in any way, for you to be able to reach out to them. Do you ever have veterans that do come to the Wounded Warrior Project that are looking to start a business? And Shante, you are muted one more time.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, we have a small amount of veterans that are looking to start their own business. It's not unfamiliar to us, so if he wants to share, please do. Any resources that we can get to assist the warriors, we'll use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Davis Warnell, he is with Senator Kelly Loeffler's office. He has also put his contact information. So if you have any questions that need to get up to the senator's level, please reach out to Davis. He is a great contact. And so we will do whatever we can to help you guys out. And let's see. Let's see. And I am going to unmute the people that have called in, just in case we have anybody that wants to ask a question audibly as well. Looks like we had somebody that was trying to talk. I'll give you just a couple more minutes.
It's okay, everybody. Don't be shy. I promise I don't bite much.
All right. If we do not have any other questions, as promised, I have put a slide together. This is Shantae's with the Wounded Warrior Project. This is her contact information. If you need to reach out to the Wounded Warrior Project for any reason, please reach out. Again, we are doing this to get as many people on the job as possible. And so please share her information, make her phone go dead with phone calls.
Also, I'm sorry, Alex, is it possible you can share my cell number as well?
Absolutely. And let me, let's see. And did you put that in the chat, Shantae?
I believe that I did, yes.
Okay. Perfect. And
the
I'm going to,
cell, but the cell is better.
Go ahead. So I am going to repost Shantae's contact information in the bottom of the chat as well. And so if you need to reach out to her, please do not hesitate. If you need to reach out to Mike, his contact information was just on the screen, or you can send me an email and I'll be more than happy to get you in contact with him. If we do not have any other questions, I'm going to close this meeting. Thank you again to Senator David Perdue and to Senator Kelly Loeffler for all the kind words you had to say about this event and about hiring of the veterans. Thank you again to Mike Buchanan coming to us all the way from Texas just to share a little bit of insight on what it means to hire veterans and how you can help them once they are hired with you. And to Laura Lamont and Shantae Lee with the Wounded Warrior Project. Everyone is doing such great work, and we're really proud to have you guys, and thank you for being a part of this. If you need anything, please reach out to us. We are only here to help. And thank you, everybody, and we will see you on the next event.